Ladies and gentlemen, greetings and welcome to Let's Talk Theory, the show where we analyze some ideas and hypotheses around our favorite subjects. I'm your host Azelrix, and today it's time to take out your lab coats and your portal guns because we're talking about Rick and Morty. God, I love this show, and can you blame me? It's the best sci-fi cartoon since Futurama and was inspired by my favorite movie, Back to the Future. So to reward this piece of art, today I'm bringing you a double theory, both concerning the past of our main Rick and everybody's favorite homicidal bastard, Eye Patch Morty. And yes, as usual, we're gonna spoil the show, so if you're not caught up, this is your spoiler warning right there. So now that this is out of the way, let's talk theory. Many times in the show, we hear Rick say that he is the Rickest Rick of them all. But we have no evidence of that or even any clue to scale it. So what does it mean exactly? But what if I told you that our Rick is not Rick C-137, but Rick Prime, creator of the Citadel and probably the original Rick? Alright, to deduce that, we first need to deduce Rick's link with Eye Patch Morty. In the episode Close Counter of the Rick Kind, we see a memory of Rick holding an infant Morty. And at the beginning of the episode, Beth celebrates Rick's 1 year anniversary of him being back in her life. But Rick is supposed to have been absent from Beth's life for 20 years, Morty being only 14 years old. It is impossible that Rick could have known him as a baby. That unless our Morty C-137, is not Rick's original protege. A very well-known theory on the internet suggests that Rick C-137 was originally the Rick of Eye Patch Morty, but when something happened to Eye Patch Morty's family, Rick traveled to another dimension where Rick C-137, the real this time, never came back. I should throw a quick disclaimer here, this episode is gonna be really hard to follow. Whatever happened, Eye Patch Morty survived and is now questing for vengeance against his old Rick. After all, if Rick is truly the best of them all, it is only fitting that he has the Mortiest Morty. He said so himself.
And you know, it would go without saying that the Rickest Rick would have the Mortiest Morty.
But he also said that a rogue Morty could cause a whole lot of trouble just before the scene ending and cutting to Eye Patch Morty getting away. At this point, we have some pretty strong clue that Eye Patch Morty is Rick's original Morty, but how does that make Rick the Rickest Rick? It's not just that he's the only one to care for his Morty, but also that he might be Rick Prime, the first Rick, creator of the Council of Rick, and probably the first one to ever discover interdimensional travel. See, once again in Close Encounter of the Rick Kind, we see that between Bot Rick and Rick C-137, there is exactly one Rick. If there was indeed an infinite number of universes, there must be infinite numbers of Rick between them. So mathematically speaking, there must be one Rick who discovered interdimensional travel before every other Rick in the multiverse. This Rick would be granted the title as Rick Prime, and I think our Rick C-137 is indeed Rick Prime. Problem is, we know this guy is known as the Prime Rick, but frankly, I don't buy it. Council of Rick and the Citadel was created to protect Ricks across the multiverse from the Galactic Federation, and our main Rick managed to overthrow both of these organizations in a single day. There we definitely have a proof of superiority. But the fact Rick C-137 hates the Council of Rick and doesn't want to join the Citadel might be a clue to debunk this theory, but I found something pretty shady there. Ricks are stone cold Slytherins. They have a pretty obvious god complex, they are jealous and they are envious. If there was such things as a Rickest Rick, it's normal to think that the other Ricks would try to overthrow him. If there was no Council of Rick, C-137 could never have overtaken every single one of them at the same time. By regrouping them, he managed to keep them in check from a safe distance. When they came for him, he was ready and he killed almost every single one of these bastards. Plus, we see C-137 do things only higher Rick could do, like Rick Prime. He knows the Citadel by heart, all his infrastructure, its passcode, even the ones that require a higher level of authorization. On the side of the one who's actually called Rick Prime in the show and in the game, we never see him with a Morty, and in the game Pocket Morty, we see him with not one, but two different Mortys, meaning that his original Morty is not around anymore. What if this Rick Prime was actually the real Rick C-137, a Rick that never came back for his family and instead became a member of the Council of Ricks? Our Rick Prime switched place with him and became C-137, erasing C-137's original memory, making him think he was Rick Prime. Just once, can we have a theory that doesn't give me a headache? Once. This is the perfect scam. It would help Rick keep the other Ricks in check, keep him under the radar of Eye Patch Morty, and also explain why Rick was so casual about abandoning the Cronenberg universe and becoming another Rick when he switched dimension with Morty, because he has done it before. Also, have you ever wondered why his matricule is C-137? C-137 was the only one to abandon his family and not come back 20 years later. But take a look at the matricule C-137, it might be a clue from the writers themselves that our Rick is Rick Prime. 1, 3, and 7 have something in common, they are all prime number. To addition them, you get 11, another prime number. Finally, 137 is, guess what, another prime number. Rick literally matriculed himself as a prime. So now take some painkillers because it is time to recapitulate the entire timeline. Rick Prime was the only Rick in the entire multiverse not to abandon Beth. Therefore, he was there to see Morty as a child, and something happened during one of their adventures that made Morty go rogue and turned him into Eye Patch Morty. Meanwhile, in dimension C-137, Rick never came back to his family. Prime swooped in, brainwashed C-137 into thinking he was the real Rick Prime and took his place as C-137. This way, Rick Prime gets his life back, he stays under the radar of both the Galactic Federation and Eye Patch Morty, and he can keep an eye on all the other Ricks until the Citadel becomes way too powerful to be manageable and has to be terminated. That leaves us with the future. Is Rick safe from Eye Patch Morty? Is he trying to find him back to repair the mistakes of the past? Or is Rick a prey stalked in the night by a predator thought to be extinct? Tell me in the comment section what are your theories on Eye Patch Morty and Rick C-137. Subscribe and activate the bell to be notified when a new video comes up. Follow me on Instagram if you want to support my artwork, and if you like what you see, you can buy t-shirts and my best pieces in the description down below. Then share this video with all your Rick and Morty fan friends from all across the multiverse, and as always, thanks for watching.